Hello, my name's Darren Brown. Welcome to the webinar. I know if you're here listening to this that you have concerns about your child, how they're doing in school, what their learning is like, and I hope during the course of this webinar to provide some answers for you. One of the worst things as a parent, if you see your child struggling, is to not have any answers at all and not have anybody who's willing to help. So the purpose of this webinar is to help you to discover how you can conquer dyslexia and learning problems in your child, how you can release their full learning potential, and how also you can escape the homework nightmare. And I know for many of you, if I say homework to you, you're just going to roll your eyes and say, oh, that's just horrible, it's a nightmare. But I'm going to show you in 3 easy steps how you can start conquering these problems. This webinar is for you if you have a child who's been diagnosed with any of the following conditions: dyslexia, learning disabilities, Asperger's, ASD, or even ADHD or ADD or any of the other Ds. This webinar is for you if you have a diagnosis like that for your child. It's also for you if you have a child who struggles to concentrate on their schoolwork or who is easily distracted. So if you get frustrated watching them trying to concentrate on their schoolwork, then this webinar is for you. It's also for you if you have nightly homework battles with your child, which often end in screaming or tears. And no one likes this. It becomes a real issue between parents and kids. It becomes a real issue around homework time, and most parents, it's their worst nightmare, and I'm going to try and relieve some of that for you here tonight. It's also for you if you believe that your child is capable of producing better work in school. Many people look at their kids and they say, well, whether they're doing well or not so well, I believe my child could do better. I believe they're smarter if they've got more potential than what you're actually seeing in their school results. It's for you also if you've been suddenly surprised by a teacher who has reported that your child is underperforming and needs remedial help. And very often you'll go through a couple of years and think your child is doing okay, even though they don't seem to be when they're doing their homework, but you're not getting any reports back that everything's bad. Then all of a sudden at the end of that, a year or two down the track, the teacher comes and says, your child's really struggling. And you say, well, this would have been good information 2 years ago. But oftentimes they kind of slip under the radar. It's also for you if you've spent good money on treatments or particularly on tutoring with little or no improvement in the child's performance and results. I mean, I love tutors. God bless tutors. They're awesome because they have a really tough job. Teachers and tutors, and that's, they have a tough job. But if they're just not breaking through, if it's just miles and miles and miles of hard work, and you're looking for an alternative way to improve their learning, then that's what this webinar is all about for you. So let me tell you just a little bit about me before I get on to how we can help you. And what led me to working with children with learning problems. My name, as I said, is Darren Brown. I'm a behavioural optometrist on the Sunshine Coast of Queensland in Australia. It's a tough life, but somebody has to do it. I graduated from optometry school in 1984, which is a while ago now. But I was soon dissatisfied with mainstream practice because it just didn't, giving reading glasses to little old men didn't really float my boat, didn't get me excited. So I attended a behavioural optometry seminar in 1985, which was only a few months after I graduated, and this changed my life. It particularly changed my life because I learned there about the inability to focus and team my eyes together. Now, I'd been through optometry school for 4 years and had professors test my eyes, but I thought everyone studied in 15-minute hits. I was bright enough. I made it through optometry school. Study 15 minutes, go to the toilet. Study 15 minutes, have something to eat. Study 15 minutes, grab a coffee, whatever it was. But when I went to this behavioural optometry seminar, I found out stuff about my own self and my own vision and how I could improve my concentration from 15 minutes to 5 hours. I then decided to study behavioural optometry, and I completed my postgraduate fellowship of the Australian College of Behavioural Optometry in 1989. But that's not the critical thing. In 1990, I set out to sort of adapt all of the the vision therapy programs I could get my hands on, but I had little or no success. And I was using the stuff that we learned about in as part of the fellowship, and some of it was good and some of it was not. But it did, again, I didn't sort of see the levels of success that I thought I should. Here's the critical thing: in 1994, we discovered that my oldest daughter Tara had a learning disability, Asperger's, and we didn't know to diagnose it at the time, but that's something that she has struggled with her whole life, and I was powerless to try and help her. My traditional therapies, the things that I'd been studying, just didn't seem to connect with her at all. So I went to a friend's practice, and he collected reprints and stuff from through the years, and I got a hold of some information that was first printed back in the 1920s and 30s and 40s. And I studied some of these great vision therapy masters, and I got some real gems that helped me when it came to not only my own daughter, but also the patients that I was treating. So I'm sure you're saying, well, is there any scientific basis for vision therapy? And the answer is, there is tons of evidence in scientific literature supporting the role of vision and visual skills in learning, and how the right type of vision therapy can dramatically improve learning and reading performance. Now, I say the right type there because not all of it does, but some of it does. Now, I didn't like the traditional vision therapy exercises very much, so I decided to design my own based on some of those old manuscripts I'd read, targeting school and learning improvement, not targeting optometry measurements. And that's key. I mean, if I'm treating a child and their measurements change, and when we get together at conferences, us doctors, we get together and we talk about, oh, this measurement changed and that one changed. Well, you know what? As a parent, you don't care about that. You don't care what happens with our measurements. What you care about is my child going to improve at school? So that was my yardstick in developing this program. So the question is not whether vision therapy works, it certainly does. The question is what type of vision therapy works best. So I was keen, I was desperate in fact, to find help for parents of children with dyslexia or learning problems or any of those other conditions we have previously mentioned. I wanted to find help for parents who feel powerless to help their children. I have parents coming to me all the time begging me, saying, Darren, please just give me something to do, anything to do. They feel completely powerless to help their child, and I understand that. I'm looking for want to find help for parents who are sick of watching their child struggle to learn. You know, you watch your child battle and fight to try and learn even the most basic things, and it breaks your heart. And as a practitioner, it breaks my heart. I wanted to find help for parents who are tired of seeing their child's self-esteem shattered by schoolwork. And we used to have this with our daughter. You know, kids come and they say, you know, Mum, I'm dumb. I'm just a dummy. You know, everyone else is smart and I'm dumb. And we sort of say, no, you're not, sweetheart. But of course, if they look at school results, that's what they are seeing. And I wanted to find help for those parents. I wanted to find help for parents who had finished with fighting and arguing over homework every night. For parents who genuinely believe that their child is smarter than their school results and want to do something about it. In fact, many of the children that I very successfully treat, their parents will say to me, they're very good at maths or they're very good verbally, but as soon as they've got to read, everything falls apart. Well, they're the sorts of kids that we can really help. So here's something to think about. This is from visionandlearning.org and the American Optometric Association. 80% of children who are reading disabled, including dyslexics, have vision problems which can be solved. So it's not enough to just say, oh, well, that's the way they are. Let's change it. Let's solve it. Let's do something about it. 25% of all children have a vision problem significant enough to affect their performance in school. 95% of first grade non-readers have significant visual problems. They have nearly 2.5 times more vision problems than high achievers. So if your child is in grade 1 and struggling to learn to read, there's a 95% chance that they have some sort of a vision problem. In one California-funded study, repeat offenders reduced from 45% to 16% when wards received on-site optometric vision therapy. In other words, someone went out to their place and did it with them. They didn't go into an office somewhere and do it. School vision screenings, as good as they might be, they detect only 20 to 30% of significant vision problems, and I think that's generous because they miss large amounts, depending on the practitioner who's running it. 1 out of 10 children is at risk for having an undiagnosed vision problem, and I think that's underperforming because there's certainly many more out there, especially if kids are struggling at school. So this is a testimony that someone has shared, and I remember these folks really well. Started off doing the program, having a little bit of fun, and after a while things sort of started to come easy to them, and it's something that builds over time. And so you can see the results. They're reaching the required level of literacy in the last report card. You know, many of our kids go beyond the required level of literacy, and that's an exciting thing. So in this webinar, I want to show you the little known visual skills that can have an enormous impact on learning. The symptoms to look for to discover if your child has vision problems. So I'm going to actually take you through some diagnostics to help you understand if your child has vision problems. Simple tests that you can do yourself at home to see the effects of vision problems on your child's learning. Also, I'm going to show you how you can spend just 20 minutes a day doing the right sort of vision therapy with your child and see an improvement in their performance within 3 months. I'm not exaggerating. You may have struggled with this for years, but I'm telling you, you are on the cusp, on the brink of finding some real answers here tonight. I also want to show you how you can do this in your own home without therapists, optometrists, or even tutors. You can do it all yourself, and we have a special program to help you do that. Also going to show you how we can structure our vision therapy and we can keep you on track. That's important. Getting the right structure, getting a system in place is really, really important. Also going to give you some free ideas for therapies that you can do with your child right now. So, first of all, what are visual skills and how do they affect dyslexia and learning problems? You might say, what are these visual skills? They are simply skills involving both vision and the understanding of visual information, which we learn to master as we practice and develop. Now, visual skills are things that you do with your eyes and your brain plugged into your eyes, because vision is not just seeing. People say to me, my child has 20/20 sight. You know, they say 20/20 vision. That doesn't mean anything. They can see. Congratulations, most of us can see. It doesn't mean that we're understanding everything that we see, and that's where vision is different to just sight. But visual skills are the skills whereby we're able to take information in through our visual system. And of course, as we grow and we begin to learn and read, we should naturally acquire these skills. We should naturally develop them. But some children struggle to do that. Now, we all use visual skills, but as I say, they should develop naturally as we learn to read, write, and spell. So the more we practice them, the better we are at them. It's the same with any skill. Here's the thing though, most teachers skip the teaching of these skills and go straight to teaching how to read, leaving many kids behind. Now, why do they do that? Simply because they don't know about it. They've got no idea. No one has told them that these skills are important. In fact, many of the teachers that I meet with, they know that these skills are important, but they can't put their finger on it. They don't know how to change it. They don't have a systematic approach to it. So they just dive straight in, oh, let's learn how to read. Well, some kids will manage, but not every child will manage. And a significant number get left behind. Visual skills are in fact the tools with which a child learns. So if I came to you and I said, I want you to build me a table, here's the wood. You'd say, okay, well, where's the saw? Where's the screwdriver and screws and measuring tape? Oh no, you don't get those. You just get the wood. Well, what sort of a table are you going to build? A pretty poor one, I'd imagine, because you don't have the tools for the job. How can you learn to read without the right tools? How can we just snap our fingers and say suddenly read if we don't give a child the tools they need to do the job? So the thing is, we train skills in other spheres. So take, for example, playing football, say soccer. You wouldn't just say, here's your jersey, hop on the field with the A-grade team. It would be embarrassing. They would just be, they'd be run off the park. What we do is we send our kids to soccer practice where they learn how to kick, how to shoot, how to pass, how to head. So are they playing the game? No, they're learning the skills. But once they have the skills, they're able to get on the field and play the game. If you wanted your child to play the guitar or piano, you would send them to guitar or piano practice. You wouldn't just say, sit in front of the piano and start playing on stage. It would be embarrassing. There are skills that we need to pick up, and it's by training them separately and drilling those skills, we are able to get good enough to be able to do the real thing. It is more powerful, in fact, to train these skills separately to learning to read. And this supercharges their reading, writing, and spelling. So what happens is everyone dives in to reading. They start working with kids on their reading and their spelling and their writing. But if we train the skills separately, it will supercharge what's going on. And that's what this webinar is all about, the opportunity to supercharge your child's learning. Now, I would hasten to say there is no magic bullet, no magic glasses, no magic pill. But don't give up, there is a way. It takes time and commitment, but there is a way. Beware of anyone who says if you put on our special coloured glasses, or if you take this pill, or if you do this, it simply doesn't work in most cases. But one thing's for sure, the answer is not doing more of what they hate, hoping that one day magically they will improve. I have many remedial reading teachers who are friends of mine, and I often joke with them by saying, Einstein's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, how is that not remedial reading? I ask you. It is exactly what remedial reading is. It's crazy. We just do the same thing over and over again and say, well, at some point, the penny will drop and they'll get it. And invariably, they don't. So the answer is not doing more of what they hate, hoping that things will change. The answer is a new, a fresh approach. There are 3 steps to conquering visual dyslexia and learning problems. Here they are. Number 1, get an eye test. Now, I'm an optometrist, I can say that, but it holds true, and I'll tell you why in a moment, and I'll tell you why eye tests are different. Number 2 is to do some home visual skills testing yourself. You don't have to believe professionals like me. We don't know everything, as much as we think we know everything at times. And step number 3 is to do something positive and proactive about it. Find the right therapy program. So let's look at step number 1, get an eye test. Ask your teacher about your child's learning. That's a good place to start. Go to your teacher and say, how's my child's learning? How are we doing? Many of you are on this webinar because you already know about it. You already know that your child is struggling. But if you're not sure, ask your teacher. Secondly, get a professional, competent eye test. Now, this is where I'm going to say something very controversial. Most eye tests look at sight, whether they have 20/20 vision or 20/20 sight, or 6/6, 20 meters, 20 feet is 6 meters. So 6/6 in Australia, 20/20 in the United States. And they look at the eye health. They also will look at whether your child is long-sighted, short-sighted, or if they have astigmatism. The thing is, that's where most optometrists stop. That's exactly where they stop. They will say the child is, plus 0.25 or minus 0.50 or whatever it is, but that's where they stop. But I'm telling you right now, as a behavioural optometrist, that is not the full story. Most optometrists who are in shopping centres, in big dispensing chains and that sort of stuff, they do a basic eye test. That's what they do. That's what they're trained to do, but they're not trained to look beyond that and look at how vision is affecting learning. So behavioural optometrists like myself go on to look at areas like focus, eye teaming at distance and near. We look at perceptual tests. We look at, which is how you take in information and deal with it. We look at eye movements, how how the eyes move across a page. We look at visualization, eye-hand coordination. We look at directionality, a whole bunch of areas, deeper areas, more complex areas, but more important areas when it comes to reading, writing, and spelling. In fact, many of the children I see are not long or short-sighted significantly at all, but they have all of these other problems. How many of you, I ask you parents, how many of you have had an eye test for your child and have been told nothing is wrong, but deep down you sense that something is? I love paranoid mums because they don't listen to what doctors say. They go, no, I know in my heart something is not right here. And I think that's fantastic. And that will be many of you. Your child might have had an eye test. You go, what? doesn't feel right. Still feels like something's wrong. So here's something else you can do. Look at home visual skills testing. So you can use our symptom list, which we can email to you, or I'll show you in a moment. Do a simple focusing test, or a convergence test, or an eye movement test, or even a memory test. So let's have a look at these. Let's have a look first of all at our symptom checklist. Does your child exhibit any of the following signs? So you can mark these off as we go along. Do they show red, sore or itchy eyes at any stage, which would indicate eye strain? Jerky eye movements, or one head that turns in or out? Oh, sorry, one eye that turns in or out. One head. They don't have two heads. One eye that turns in or out. Squinting, eye rubbing or excessive blinking. Do they complain of blurred or double vision, either blurred vision on the board or on their book up close? And many times it'll be blurred for just a few seconds, then it will come clear. That's very significant. Do they have headaches, dizziness or nausea, especially after reading? Head tilting, closing or blocking one eye when reading. And the biggest one of all, do they show poor concentration for near work like reading? Here's a hint. Many times I have parents come to me and they say, my child has ADD or ADHD. I always say to them, can your child watch a TV show or a movie? Oh yeah, they sit there bolt still and watch a movie. I said, so they only get ADD when they look at their book, is that right? Well, yeah, that's what I've been told. How can you turn attention deficit disorder on and off? You can't turn it off for TV and turn it back on for reading. Not going to happen. It's got to be something significant about the distance, about how much focus and eye teaming is required. So there's a hint. If your child can watch a movie, but they can't look at a book for more than 5 minutes, almost always a visual problem. Here's some more symptoms. Does your child show any of the following performance cues? Avoidance of near work. In other words, poor concentration. We're going to hit this again and again. If you give them close work or reading, they avoid it. You can even, apply it to older kids. You say, even if a child reads well, I have many kids that present to me, they read quite well. And I say, do you ever sit down and read a book? No. Why not? It's boring. If you can read well, a book's not boring, trust me. So it's almost always a visual problem. Frequent loss of place when reading. Omitting, inserting or rereading letters or words. Misreading, we call that. Confusing similar looking words. Failure to recognise the same word in the next sentence. That's one of the most frustrating for parents. You say, how can you not know that word? You read it on the previous page. I told it to you no more than 20 seconds ago. Very frustrating. Here's some more symptoms. Does your child show the following? They're smart in everything but school. All of the time I have parents come to me and they say, my child is so bright, I can talk to them, they know everything about dinosaurs or whatever the kid is into, but they're doing badly at school. If you've got a smart child who's doing badly in school, it's almost always a visual problem, and we can help. Are they better verbally than when reading or writing? Another dead set giveaway. That is a giveaway. They're better verbally, shows they've got a good mind, a fast mind, an intelligent mind, but they can't read or write. It's a blockage in the reading writing area. Do they have low self-esteem, poor self-image, or a sensitivity to failure? Many of the children that we deal with are just used to failing. They just go, oh well, I'm just bad at all this. And we've got to give them the opportunity to not be bad at all these things. That's what we need to do by giving their visual skills a fair go. Does your child exhibit temper flare-ups, aggressiveness, frequent frustration when doing homework? Once again, if they get really angry and frustrated when it comes to homework and reading, almost always a vision problem, and we can help. Frequent crying, especially during homework, short attention span, there it is again, or poor concentration, irritability, and daydreaming. Some kids do not get angry and frustrated and lash out and get up and walk away. Some of them just drift off. So if you have a child who every time you come in, they're gazing out the window, thinking deep thoughts, then once again, very often a visual problem. Here's some more. Is your child frequently labelled lazy or been told they don't try? Labelled dyslexic, ADD or ADHD? Have they been labelled a slow learner? Oh, your child's just a slow learner. Are you prepared to put up with that? I'm not. Have they been labelled as a behavioural problem, having a behavioural problem, or as juvenile delinquent, or this is a really common one, working below potential. So yes, Johnny's a lovely boy, he's great, he gets on well, but he's just working below potential. Well, I think our job as parents and as professionals is to help our children work at their full potential, not below it. So let's run through some quick little visual skills tests that you can do at home with your child. Focus test: you hold a book with small print 5 to 7 centimetres from their nose, and then you get a printed chart or a bit of newspaper, tack it to the wall 6 metres away, check their distance vision, make sure they can see the print. Then what you want to do is get them to change from clearing the book to clearing the chart and back again, so it's distance near, saying yes each time. Do this 20 times and record the time it takes. And here's a bit of a clue. If it takes longer than 40 seconds, or if you hear them slowing down, the longer they do it, they slow down, chances are your child has a focusing problem. That's a good one to tick and to bring to the optometrist. Eye teaming test: you can see this little boy here holding a pencil 50 centimetres from their nose, move it closer and watch the two eyes. They should turn in at keeping their target clear and single. If one eye drifts away, you need to note the distance at which this happens. If that distance is greater than 7 centimetres, then you may have an eye teaming problem. Here's another one, an eye movement test. You hold a pencil 20 centimetres from the child's nose, ask them to look at the pencil and keep their head still. And follow the pencil. Move it left, right, up, down. You can move it in a Union Jack, so obliquely as well. And ask them to follow the pencil. If the eyes are jerking, and you will clearly see this, if you move, some of you will be amazed. If you do this with your child, you'll say, my goodness, I didn't realise how difficult that was for them. If they cannot keep their head still, or if their eyes are jerking as they follow it, you may have an eye movement problem. What about this one? Visual memory. Write 2 series of the numbers 1 through 9 on separate pieces of paper cut to the same size. Hold a book to block the child's view and place 2 numbers randomly behind the book, so not side by side, but randomly. Take the book away for 1 second, then replace it. Ask the child what the numbers were. Add more and more numbers and try to discover the maximum number of numbers that they can remember correctly 2 out of 3 attempts. This is heavily dependent on age, but it will give you an idea if they're struggling with their visual memory. So this is not a definitive test. It's just to give you an idea. So let's get on to step 3. Make sure your child's eyes are tested so they haven't got any big problems. Do those little tests at home. Step number 3 is to do something about it. Really important. It is not good enough to test if we fail to treat. It's just not. What's the use of testing if you don't do anything about it? And much of the testing that a child with learning difficulties goes through, you get a nice label, you get a nice report, mum and dad pay hundreds of dollars, and at the end of the day, nothing is given to you to do. Testing and diagnosing is pointless if you don't then do something about it, and doing something is always better than doing nothing. I would caution you, if you do nothing, nothing will change. And always accept the do something diagnosis over the nothing can be done diagnosis. I mean, you can take a child to 5 different professionals and get 5 different opinions. But I would always accept the, hey, I think we can do something to help diagnosis over the, well, there's nothing can be done. Or here's a label, stick this on them, and then your teachers will know not to try too hard to teach them. Really, is that what we want for our kids? I don't think so. But word of caution with that, taking the wrong advice will see you wasting time and money on therapies that might look like magic but simply don't work. Now, not all advice or therapies work, and that's a key thing. You don't want any old advice. You want advice and therapies that actually works. So what is an ideal therapy? I mean, what are you looking for in some sort of therapy or help for your child that will actually work? Let me give you some ideas of in a perfect world, what the perfect therapy would be. It's got to be easy to join, easy to do, and have simple instructions. I mean, if it's too complex, you're not going to do it, frankly. It needs to be done in your own home, so there's no travel. How much time do you put in traveling to and from an office? I mean, you probably spend $20, $30 in fuel and all this other sort of stuff just to go to an office and back. If it's done in your own home, there's no travel. It's much easier. It should take no longer than 20 minutes a day, school days only. It should last no longer than 9 months for guaranteed results. I met someone one time who had been doing speech therapy for 7.5 years. They said, "What do you think?" I said, "I think you need a medal," because I'd have given up 7 years ago. Like, honestly, if you can't see a huge improvement in a matter of a few months, then the problem is almost insurmountable, I would imagine, or the therapy is wrong. Most likely the latter. The ideal therapy also is fun. The kids must enjoy doing activities and games. It's really, really important that it's fun. If it's just hard work, kids won't want to do it. And vision therapy is like any other therapy. A little every day is far more powerful than an hour or two a week. But you need to see it through. And this is the critical thing. You do need to see it through. Not all therapies are the same, but you want to find the one that works best for you. Training visual skills is, I believe, where it's at. And the more I study this, the more I realize that training the right skills is the most important thing, because it gives them the ability to learn. So if you train core visual skills, you literally cannot fail to see improvement in your child, because you're training what we all use when we read and write and learn. I mean, people say, is this thing going to work? I say with 100% confidence, absolutely. You will see either a lot or a little bit of improvement, but you'll see something, because you literally can't miss. If you send your child to football practice, they'll be a better football player. If you send them to guitar practice, they'll be a better guitarist. If you send them to dance lessons, they'll be a better dancer. You literally can't miss. You're not going to send your little girl to dance lessons for a year, and then at the end, they're worse off than when they started. You can only see improvement. So that's the power of training the right skills. This program I'm about to share with you, I have done with dyslexics, Asperger's, ADHD, autistic kids, even adult illiterates and refugees. In fact, we pioneered it with refugees. I trialled these therapies and programs because refugees that I was dealing with, this was up in Malaysia, they're bright kids who never had the chance to learn. And so when they came to learn, they sat at a desk and they said, "Start learning." And the kid just had nothing, zip. Nothing at all. And so we used our therapies to stimulate that. My vision therapy works on this principle. If you give your child a fish, you'll feed them for a day. If you teach them to fish, you will feed them for a lifetime. So in other words, give them the skills that they need to learn, and they will learn. And that's what a good vision therapy program actually does. It gives them the skills they need to do the job. So here's some more testimonies. And you'll see that a lot of the mums have gone from struggling through to, great success with their kids. Here's another one. 12 reading levels in 6 weeks. Now, that's not the norm. That is a fabulous result, but, it's out there. It is possible, because if you give them the skills they need, you can see significant improvement. So let's recap. Here's how you can conquer visual dyslexia and learning problems. Number 1, get a professional eye test, preferably at a behavioural optometrist. Number 2, do some home vision skills tests yourself and check the symptoms. See if your child fits into any of those categories. If you're ticking a lot of boxes there, you've definitely got a way ahead here. And number 3 is, of course, to do something positive and proactive about it. And here's what I believe is the best thing you can do for your child and their future learning. This is our Learning at Lightspeed Home Vision Therapy program. I'm really excited to share this with you. We've been having fabulous results with my own patients, and just to get it out there onto the internet and share it to a broader audience, this program, it's simple, but it's dynamite. It can really supercharge your child's learning. Our exclusive program trains the actual visual skills your child needs to learn, the actual skills. It works through a developmental progression, so it starts with very basic skills and it progresses through to advanced skills. And that's a key thing. It's not enough to do this exercise and that exercise and be haphazard. You may be thinking, I'll just get on the internet and Google vision therapy or eye exercises and that'll probably work. No, it won't. You need a systematic approach. You need to give them the very basic skills, then build on it, build on it, build on it until you finish with the final product. Our therapy also involves games, which are fun. They're highly targeted and takes only 20 minutes a day, school days only. And it can catch a child up and in many cases give them an unfair advantage over their peers. So we can actually accelerate kids beyond their peers. It's been designed by a passionate professional, which is me, who has experienced the anguish you're feeling right now. I mean, my daughter had severe learning problems. We didn't think, we were in fact told that she wouldn't make it to university. We were told she's not gonna really graduate from high school correctly. So here's my story very briefly. We took her out of school. We put her in nanny college because she wanted to work with kids. That's all she wanted to do. Didn't really like her nannying. I thought she could do a bit better than that. So I took her to Malaysia to a friend of mine who runs the school for refugees up there and said, would you have her in your school to work with you? He said yes, he would. And to stay in the country, she had to enroll in university. She was terrified. It was tears and I don't think I can do it. But she had to get a student visa rather than a regular tourist visa. So she enrolled in university and then she graduated as a primary school teacher. The little kid that couldn't just did, and we celebrate her victory. She's an awesome girl, and she's done incredibly well against all odds. We didn't give up on her, but at the time I couldn't even really help her enough. So I know what you're going through, but I know there is a way ahead. Our program has been designed to target the visual skills your child needs to succeed, not just my optometry measurements. This is a key point. It's not enough to target my measurements. I've got to target your requirements, which is that your child will improve. It's also been designed with simplicity and fun in mind, because that's how you get kids to do it. You have fun. And most of all, it works. Proven results guaranteed. If you do what I ask, you will definitely see improvement in your child. So what do we do in learning at Lightspeed? Well, we target these areas, the 7 key visual skills that your child needs to learn effectively. We look at focus, we look at eye teaming, the way the two eyes work together as a team. We look at eye movements, how they move across a page. We look at visualization, picturing in their mind. We look at laterality, left-right awareness and that sort of stuff. We look at hand-eye coordination for writing, and we look at other perceptual areas. So let me run through these and tell you what these are all about. Number 1, focusing. Obviously, it's how a child, there's 2 aspects to focusing, how they change focus from distance to near and back again. That will help them copying off the board, and also how they sustain their focus up close, which will have great implications for concentration. So if we improve focusing, we can increase concentration for reading. We can help them as they copy off the board because they can change from distance to near and back again very rapidly. It also will relieve eye strain, tired, sore eyes and headaches. It can improve comprehension and retention. If all of your effort is going into holding focus clear and single, you don't have anything left to understand and retain information. If you make focusing easier, it is a proven fact that they will be able to retain and comprehend things far more readily. They have more energy available for it. Eye teaming is quite similar to focusing. It increases concentration. It improves the flow of reading. Many times you hear your child read, it doesn't flow. It's like every individual word. It's like reading like a robot. And training eye teaming can help reading flow. It also decreases things like double vision and generalized stress when reading. Eye movements. Now, eye movements is how your eyes move across a page, and if you train these, you'll see improved reading flow as well. A decrease in things like misreads or skipping lines and reading with more expression. It will also help them copying off the board. If their eye movements are poor, when they change from distance to near and back again, they lose their place. And it will also help in improving ball sports, especially small ball sports like tennis, cricket, baseball, and soccer. Visualization is the 4th area we look at. This directly has an effect on spelling. It will improve. You improve visualization, you will improve spelling. You will improve memory. You will also improve creativity. And we all want that for our kids. Laterality. This is the dreaded reversals. If you have a child who writes was for saw, writes S's, and so on backwards, then this is the one for you. We can stop them reversing numbers and letters. Hand-eye coordination, and by the way, that's not very hard to do. I do that all the time. It is not a symptom of dyslexia. I do that all the time. Hand-eye coordination, of course, is writing. Improve that, we can improve writing. We can also improve ball sports, especially catching and batting. And then we look at other perceptual areas such as coding, excuse me, sequencing, and a lot of other areas that go towards visual development. So we're looking at those 7 modules there. In Learning at Lightspeed, here's what you get. Very clear instructions, number 1. We clearly lay out what each exercise is trying to achieve and exactly how you do the exercise or game. We don't just say go and do this. We clearly lay it out. I'll show you this in a moment. We give you all the charts and handouts you need, everything you need. You can run off copies as you need them, print them as you need them. We give you record sheets so you can plot your progress every day. Put a tick there so you can see if you've missed any days. We give you email support. We're here when you need us to direct you and to help you. So, what do the activities look like? I'll show you a few quickly. This is a cool little game called Capture the Mosquitoes. We've just put this up as a computer game as well. It's an awesome game. I'm really blown. I asked someone to design it for me and I'm blown away at how effective they've been. It's really, really good game. And this is an eye movements game where they've got to circle each mosquito 3 times in order. This is what a normal exercise would look like. This is one of our exercises. It's clearly laid out, purpose, what you'll need, method, excuse me, and variations on the method. Different things you can try. We give you letter charts as required. We also give you a whole bunch of activities laid out there in sections. This is just another one called visual memory activities. These are using objects you have around the house. It's very simple to set up, but we can use those things very effectively in Learning at Lightspeed. So, if you are struggling right now with a child who has dyslexia, learning difficulties, Asperger's, ADHD, or is just plain underperforming, this could be the best news you've ever heard. And hopefully you have learned a lot in this webinar. But let me tell you just honestly, straight out, if you haven't committed to anything, you can rest assured that you have a 100% chance of changing what for your child? 0. It's not about listening to things and doing webinars. It is about finding a solution for your child, and you need to commit to things to get them done. If you are the sort of person who sits around and thinks and debates things for a long period of time, this is specifically for you. You know, it's your child's future in the balance. Your child's future hangs in the balance. It's in your hands. It's up to you to say, yep, I'm going to do something. I'm going to be an action taker right here. I'm going to do it. So if you've never done any therapy before, you might be thinking, oh, this is so intimidating. I'm not sure I can do this. Let me tell you, it might seem overwhelming, but we make the process so simple. Don't worry. Easy to follow games. Your child will love to do them. And we target all the areas they need to develop and learn effectively. Now, if we treated each of these areas separately, we would normally charge $297 a module. So if you add that up, this is what our therapy is worth. It's not what you're going to pay, but it's what it's worth. Focus, eye teaming, eye movements, visualization, laterality, hand-eye coordination, and other perceptual areas. If you added all that up, it's going to come to $2,079. And that's a lot of money. But in addition to that, you are also going to get full support with simple instructions, all the charts provided. You're going to get video demonstrations, email support, record sheets to monitor progress, everything you need to transform your home into a vision therapy center with you as the trained vision therapist. You just do exactly what we ask. It's very simple. That is valued $500. So if we put that together, here's what you get, the value of what you're getting. $2,079 for 7 modules and full email support and video support, $500. So that comes to a total value of $2,579. But before I reveal to you my special price, let me add some bonuses. I don't know about you, but I love bonuses. I reckon they're cool. And I want to add some parenting bonuses that will help you as you parent. I don't have to do this, I want to do this. And I want to just sweeten the deal a little bit here. And make this an irresistible offer, because if you really love your child, you're going to love these. These books can have an impact on your life, your family, and your children. So here's bonus number 1, the Involvement Informer. Involvement parenting is very big at the moment, helping parents become actively involved in their child's schooling. It will help your kids make the right decisions when it comes to schooling. Valued at $27, it's yours free if you join Learning at Lightspeed tonight. Bonus number 2, how how to raise great kids. Who doesn't want that? 75 questions and answers about how to raise great kids. So have a look at some of these. These are questions that we all ask about our kids. It's a great little book. Just quick, easy to read, easy to apply things, many more questions. It's valued at $47, but it's yours for free when you join Learning at Lightspeed. How about this one? Bonus number 3, Raising Children Who Succeed. You can learn the answers to questions you might have, like defining success and what children really do and don't need. There's some fantastic information in here. It's valued at $37. It's yours for free if you join Learning at Lightspeed. Number 4, the Smart Parenting Guide, Raising Happy and Responsible Children in the 21st Century. So have a look at this. Encouragement, positive reinforcement and praise. Let me just pause there for a moment, because as parents we need to encourage our child. And if you have a child struggling with learning problems, it's real easy to get frustrated. It's real easy to get cranky. Our vision therapy can help to solve that problem, but this book can also add to it and help you only speak positive, encouraging words to your child. Have a look at this. Forming values, not spoiling your child. Ouch. And why is parenting so hard? They're great questions, and that is valued at $37. It is yours for free when you join Learning at Lightspeed. So here's what you get. 7 therapy modules at $2,079. Full email support, $500. Plus you get those 4 brilliant little bonuses there just for you. Total value is $2,727. But you won't pay that much today, I promise. There's a special price coming your way. Before I tell you our special price, let me ask you an important question. Can you do this another way? I mean, is mine the only program around? No. Who else is doing vision therapy, and how much does it cost? Let me give you a little bit of an idea. If you cruise the internet, you'll find some of these rates out there. Most vision therapy that I've sourced costs around $139 a session, and most optometrists recommend twice weekly sessions for at least 8 weeks, with very often a second block a month or 2 later. Add this up, it is a minimum of $2,224, not dissimilar to the value that we've placed on our therapy. Plus, you need to travel to and from the doctor's office, so that's time, fuel, snacks along the way, kids whinging, can we go to McDonald's after this, which for 16 sessions, so that's 8 weeks, twice a week, let's say $30 a session, that's $480. So the total for 8 weeks of therapy is $2,704, and if a second block is needed, same again, it's $5,408 or more. Ouch. So for 8 weeks, let's go over this again, $2,704 up to $5,408. And that is for a couple of months. Now, I'm guessing a lot of you don't want to pay that sort of money, and I don't blame you. And I'm also guessing a lot of you don't want to take your child twice a week to the therapy rooms, even if you can find one in your area. I mean, many areas around the world don't have behavioural optometrists running therapy. So what are you going to do? How can you do it? Well, most of these therapies are designed to change mainly optometry measurements, which is nice if it improves your child's performance, but it often doesn't. So that is a lot of money for something that doesn't necessarily see your child's learning improve, right? Let me explain this again. My exercises and therapies have not been designed to change measurements in my optometry office. They have been designed to provide tangible and observable improvements in your child's learning and reading. I want you to see the results. I want you to say, my child is improving. That's what I want to hear most of all. So what about other sorts of therapies? Surely there are other doctors or medical professionals that can help help us overcome dyslexia. Well, once again, had a bit of a scout round in my area, and the answer is yes. But let me put a word of caution here. Dyslexia and learning is a huge and highly controversial area. There is everything from pills to coloured glasses that are claimed to help. And some of them do, some of them don't. The question you have to ask yourself is which one of these will work and how much do they cost? So beware, once again, beware of any miracle cures, because they simply don't exist. Magic coloured glasses that will make them read better, magic drugs, magic movements, hypnosis, etc. They may help, but they won't solve the problem of not developing the right skills. So, you could have your child assessed by a paediatrician who is likely to recommend medicating your child to help them learn with drugs like Ritalin or dexamphetamine. The cost of consultations and medications is usually over $1,000 a year, and your child is medicated. Or you could have your child assessed by a clinical psychologist. They will identify areas where your child is behind age norms. They might offer a few suggestions, like don't give them more than one instruction at once and move them to the front of the class. But they don't actually give you a program to help. They test it, but they don't help. Cost is $550. You get a nice report, but nothing positive to do. Or you can hire a tutor, which many parents do. And here's the truth about tutoring. They may be trained, but they're essentially doing what you or a teacher can do. They're still fighting the same problem, which is the child hasn't developed the right visual skills. So they might be more highly trained and possibly more tenacious than you, but they're still fighting the same problem. That is going to cost you, in my area, at least $90 a week, which is $4,680 a year. And once again, they battle the same things you do, the lack of visual skills in your child. So the fact is there is nothing else out there that is like learning at Lightspeed. Nothing at all. Remember, doing something is better than doing nothing. You can do it in your own home, you can do it at your own pace, and you can get real results with a minimum of fuss. It's not a magic quick fix. It takes time and effort, and you've got to see it through. But if you do, there is nothing else that can train the actual skills that your child needs to learn to read, write, and spell effectively. So, remember, I promised that you would not pay $2,727 today, even though that's what it's worth. And we've seen from other vision therapy around that that's what others are charging. Today I have a very special and very amazing offer just for you. Because I know what it's like to have a child with a learning disability. I know the heartache. I know the frustration. Because I'm passionate about seeing kids succeed at school. I want kids to do well. I want to see kids reach their full potential because I understand your frustration as a parent. You may have tried a bunch of things unsuccessfully. I understand that and I want to help. And also because I know most of you will want to do something, anything you can, to help your child and save them from a miserable academic future. I'm hoping that many of you will not say, well, I'm just going to forget about what Darren said and just keep soldiering on the same way. I'm hoping you will be action takers. You will respond, that you will click on the link and go straight ahead and get involved immediately, because I guarantee you will see incredible improvements in your child. So as we said, $2,727 worth of value. You're not going to pay that today. Instead today, only $127 a month, and only for 9 months. So let's make it really, really cool with some extra special mega bonuses. And these, once again, are more great parenting ebooks valued at $168. Here's bonus number 5. Teaching good decision making. You can teach your kids how to make the right decisions every single time. You can help them with special techniques and psychology tools even. Wow. It's valued at $37. It's yours free when you join Learning at Lightspeed. Bonus 6, Asperger's answers revealed. Now, many of you have kids that you suspect might be Asperger's, or maybe they've even been diagnosed, as my daughter was. So if you have an Asperger's child, you will love this. Learn the secrets of how to understand them and how to bring the best out of them, both both academically and also in life. You don't want your child just to succeed at school. You want them to be a success in every aspect of life. Valued at $47, yours free. Bonus 7, ouch, the child diet dilemma. How to prevent childhood obesity. And that's a scary one for most parents, I can tell you. $37 worth of value, it's yours for free. And finally, the single parenting guy. You know, if you're a single parent, as many are whose kids are struggling, it's a great book full of advice, insights, tips to help you deal with a whole bunch of things, from dealing with your ex and with the children when he's not supportive, and also helping your child to adjust to the separated situation. Valued at $47, that is yours for free if you join Learning at Lightspeed. So once again, here's what you get. The 7 modules. You get full support and email access, plus you get 8 incredible bonuses. Total value of $2,875, but again, it is yours today. You only have to pay $127 a month, and you get all the bonuses straight away. If you pull out at some stage, you can keep the bonuses, but I'm sure you won't, because you'll be seeing real results with your child. Remember, doing something is better than doing nothing. The most important thing is that you do something. Give your child a fish, feed them for a day. Teach them to fish, feed them for a lifetime. Give your child the skills they need to succeed in learning for a lifetime. Click on that button and come join us. Your child's worth it. Only $127 a month. That's $32 a week. It's 1/3 the cost of a tutor, and here's the good news, it works better. Many kids don't even need a tutor when we improve their visual skills. It's very cost effective. It's done in your own home. It's right here, right now, and you can get involved and start immediately changing your child's life. You can conquer dyslexia and learning disabilities. You can give your child the chance of becoming all that they can possibly be in learning and in life. I'd encourage you, come on, get involved, be a part of what we're doing. Join Learning at Lightspeed. Click on that button now and come join us. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. If you put the work in, you will definitely see improvement in your child. It's been wonderful having this time with you. Hope it has been helpful to you. Hope you enjoy it. And most of all, I hope you do something. Please do something rather than nothing. Don't let this opportunity slip by. Don't put it on the back burner. Don't go away and think about it. Act on it, because your child's future is in your hands. Your child's learning is in your hands, and only you can change it. For $32 a week, it's worth taking a chance. Go without a cappuccino for a few times during the week, and instead invest your money where it's going to have the biggest effect on your child for the rest of their life. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for listening. And I look forward to having you join us in Learning at Lightspeed, and we will catch up soon. Wishing you all the very best with your child and in your family. And please, doing something is better than doing nothing. It really is. God bless you, and good night.